Isabella of Castile, the Iron Queen.
May the heavens protect this child.
The storm was loud enough to make the saints tremble. Inside a dim stone chamber, a woman labored beneath the cold gaze of a crucifix. When the child finally cried, thunder answered from the heavens. They named her Isabella, born in 1451, a princess of Castile, though no one then could guess she would one day rule Spain, crown a new world, and burn her own soul to keep it pure. A priest at her christening whispered, "God has touched this child, but his touch burns." The silent prisoner. Isabella's childhood was one of walls and whispers. Her father was dead. Her brother, King Henry IV, weak, suspicious, and surrounded by liars. The little girl was hidden away in a damp castle, far from the royal court, with only her mother and her prayers for company. Each dawn she knelt on frozen stone and whispered Latin verses she barely understood. "God," she murmured, "if you have chosen me, teach me to endure your will." While other girls learned to dance, she learned to wait. While other children dreamed of love, Isabella dreamed of obedience. Her tutors called her pious. Her mother called her blessed. But loneliness became her first kingdom, and fear her first crown.
The forbidden marriage. At 18, the world began to knock. Princes came with letters, envoys, jewels, and promises. France wanted her hand. Portugal demanded it. Rome offered divine favor in exchange for alliance. But Isabella had grown wary of men who used God's name to buy power. "I will marry," she said softly, "only with heaven's blessing." Heaven's choice came in secret. His name was Ferdinand of Aragon, a prince from the neighboring kingdom, bold where she was cautious, cunning where she was pure. They met at night, cloaked and trembling, in a monastery lit only by torchlight. The priest who joined their hands did so in silence, for to bless them openly was treason. When Ferdinand slipped a ring on her finger, Isabella whispered, "God unite what kings divide." Outside, church bells rang for another reason, a death in the royal court, but history mistook the sound as heaven's approval. A crown of thorns. 2 years later, King Henry died, and suddenly the girl who had once been a prisoner was hailed as Queen of Castile. Her coronation took place inside a cathedral thick with incense and murmurs. As the crown descended on her head, Isabella's heart pounded like a trapped bird. "By the grace of God," said the priest, but she could feel Ferdinand's gaze burning beside her. He leaned close and whispered, "You are not my queen. You are my wife." Her reply was quiet, sharp as steel. "And you are my subject." From that moment, love and power became enemies that shared her bed. The court divided, the nobles plotted, and Isabella learned that piety could be a sword sharper than any blade. God's war. Spain was a patchwork of faiths, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, a mosaic of centuries. But Isabella dreamed of one nation under one God. "Granada," she told Ferdinand, staring toward the southern mountains, "is the last wound. We will close it with fire." For 10 years, the Holy War raged. Fields turned to ash. Cities crumbled into prayer and smoke. Isabella, in armor of white and gold, rode among her soldiers.
God wills it, she cried. The men followed her, believing she was heaven's chosen flame. When Granada fell in 1492, church bells rang across the kingdom. Isabella knelt on the conquered earth, her lips trembling. Now Spain is whole, she whispered, yet in her heart something had broken.
The Inquisition. Peace did not come. Peace never does when built on fear. Advisors came to her, black-robed priests, eyes like cold glass. Your Majesty, they said, heresy spreads among your people. The faith is in danger. Isabella hesitated. Then save their souls, she said. By fire, if necessary, answered the confessor. And she signed. A single drop of ink fell on the parchment like blood. That night, she could not sleep. From the palace window, she saw torches moving in the city below, flickering, dancing, multiplying. The Spanish Inquisition had begun. Prayers turned to screams. Confessions turned to smoke. Isabella pressed her hands over her ears, whispering, "I am saving them! I am saving them!" But the echo that returned was the sound of chains.
A mother's sorrow. God gave her kingdoms, but took her children. One by one, they vanished. Her firstborn son, dead of fever. Her daughter, lost to a foreign throne. Another, stillborn, wrapped in silence. Each death hollowed her deeper. One night she sat alone beside a tiny coffin, the air thick with candle smoke. "Lord," she whispered, "I gave you my crown. I gave you my body. Must you take my heart too?" No answer came, only the faint hiss of wax dripping onto stone. The Iron Queen began to rust. The Stranger from the Sea. When a foreign sailor named Christopher Columbus arrived at her court, he seemed a fool, dusty, sunburned, eyes wild with visions of a western sea. "Your Majesty," he said, kneeling, "give me ships, and I will find a world beyond the edge of the map." Ferdinand laughed, but Isabella did not. Something in the man's voice reminded her of herself, faith dressed as madness. "Go then," she said quietly. "And if you find it, tell them their queen still believes in God." Months later, word arrived. A new land had been found. The court rejoiced. Bells rang again. But Isabella only smiled faintly. "Another world," she murmured, "and yet no peace in this one." The Fall. By 1504, the queen's hands trembled when she lifted her rosary. Her hair had turned silver, her crown too heavy to wear. She retreated to a small monastery away from the court, away even from Ferdinand. Each night she prayed for forgiveness, not for her wars, not for her cruelty, but for her certainty. "Did I love God?" she asked the dark.
Love God.
For only the power he gave me. Her voice grew thin. The candles burned lower. When death came, it came gently, like sleep after a long battle. Her lips moved one last time. "Into your hands, Lord, my soul and my Spain." Legacy. They buried her beneath the Cathedral of Granada, the city she had conquered, the city she had wept for. Beside her lay Ferdinand, the husband she had both loved and defeated. Over their tomb, sunlight pours through stained glass, painting her face in gold and crimson. To the world, she is still Isabella the Catholic, the queen who united Spain, sent Columbus to the New World, and carried God's name like a sword. But history remembers what she tried to forget, that every victory demands a sacrifice, and every saint bleeds beneath the crown.
The Whisper of Ashes. Centuries later, travelers still kneel before her marble effigy. They whisper prayers, not knowing if the woman who listens deserves them. Sometimes, when the wind moves through the cathedral, it sounds almost like her voice. I fought for God, but in the end, God won. And somewhere between heaven and history, the Iron Queen kneels still, her hands clasped, her kingdom burning softly behind her.